Hi, ladies. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late getting on today, but if you're here, please leave me a comment so I know you're here. I can say hello to you. So this week we're going to continue our conversation about hearing, listening, and following our inner guidance. And so last week I shared some different ways that you could approach it. And this week I'm going to share some additional tools that you can use. So, one of the things I wanted to share is oracle cards. So, this is another way that you can find inner guidance. So I use this deck right here. It's called Wisdom of the Oracle. It's by Colette Baron Reed, and she has a book that explains how to do it. But anyway, so these are her cards. I like these because they're sort of prescriptive, right? They're not just affirmations. They actually sort of give you some guidance for the week. Oh, look, somebody's there. Hi, Abby. Hi, thank you for joining. So this morning I was had some questions again. So you're going to do the same thing as I talked about last week. Remember, I said asking open-ended questions or sort of general questions. So I asked, what do I need to know for the coming week? And so Colette also does sort of a general reading for everyone for the week. And you can look that up on YouTube. And then I do a personal reading for myself. So one of the things, so I got these were there. I draw 4 cards, and she explains how to do that. So all oracle cards sort of have a different process for how you read them. So the tarot is also a type of oracle card. This one comes with a little booklet to explain each card and how you can interpret the results or the message. And I also like to also pray about it myself to see what guidance, what I feel intuitively the cards are trying to tell me. So this morning it was actually very helpful because one of the things that I struggle with is really just accepting things the way they are. And really surrendering and be in the flow. Those are those are the big things that I struggle with. I don't know what everyone has different ones. So the messages I got was about surrendering, right? Surrendering to the plan that's in place for me. So God has a plan for my life, right? God has a plan for my business, for my relationships. And my job is to just sort of get out of the way and be in the flow of that. So that was a really interesting message. So this is another way that you can seek guidance. So we talked about prayer and meditation. Almost always you want to try to quiet your mind. So before I do my reading, I usually do it during my meditation time in the morning. So I'm already sort of centered and clear. And it was interesting because this morning, like every human being, I was feeling really anxious and not feeling myself, not feeling very motivated, and was really struggling. And so I did my meditation, then I did my oracle cards. And when I was in that quiet space, everything sort of made sense. So one of the things I wanted guidance is that I had decided that I wanted to do some volunteer work. I felt like I wanted to give back to my community. And so I started looking for a type of volunteer position in my town where I live. And so I found one, I reached out to them. And then once they said, yes, we would love to have you. And then I started second guessing myself. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I want to commit the time? Because it is a time commitment every week. And in my meditation, inner guidance, right, I asked sort of an open-ended question. I didn't say, should I do this volunteer project? I said, what is it that you want me to know about this volunteer project? And then I just got really a clear answer. I heard that I would have fun. I would really enjoy it. And that really made me feel like, yes, I can do it. So I followed through and said, yes, I would do it. So that's one way that you can use inner guidance to answer questions. So I made some notes. So here are some other ways. So that was, I said I would share 3 this week. So that was one. Number 2 is watching for signs. So this is what I would call external guidance. So you have this sort of general question. What you may find is that this guidance will start to come to you from external sources. So It may be synchronicities, coincidences. Maybe a friend sends you an email that was just on the subject that you were asking about. So those are what I call like looking for signs. So you start to see the messages coming towards you. So you're opening yourself to these messages coming towards you. So external guidance can also be a very helpful tool. The third one is asking someone else for guidance. So someone that you trust, someone that's a good listener who's not going to judge and give advice, but might be able to give you some guidance. So there's kind of a difference between advice and guidance. So to me, first of all, advice comes when I guess advice and guidance is the same thing. But sometimes, if you're asking for guidance and advice, that's one thing. If you're not asking for it, then sometimes people giving advice is not helpful. So, asking someone that you know and trust, who probably also has a spiritual practice of meditation, groundedness, being centered. So, that's a third way that you can follow your inner guidance. So now I want to sort of recap the whole process that we talked about last week and this week. And I will need my glasses for this because I've been looking at my notes. So here's an exercise in asking. So first thing you're going to do is pick a situation that you need guidance on, whatever it is. It could be as simple as, like I was describing before, of whether I should do this volunteer job or not. So then ask yourself first, and we talked about this last week, what are my agendas, attachments, and fears in this situation? So there you're going to bring to your awareness any kind of agenda you might have. So I might have said, okay, my agenda is that I want to do, I want to really watch how much I commit to doing other things. So I'm already afraid, right? I'm afraid that this might be too much and I'd be too stressed or I might be anxious. So I looked at that and you put it to the side. So you're going to put that to the side, your own agenda, your own attachment to a specific outcome. And then you're going to formulate the question as general as possible to start. So it could be as, what can you tell me about this situation? Or what is it that I need to know about this situation? And I gave you some examples last week. If you go back and look at that video, you can jot those down. And then you're going to ask, and remember last week we talked about you want to ask from a state of confidence, right? So confidence that the answer will come, but also with a quiet mind. So you want to be in a place where the mind is quiet, that you've done a little bit of the meditation, whether it's watching your breath or just sitting quietly, whatever it is, you want to be in that quiet meditative state when you're asking. And so that's what I call wait and silent expectancy, expecting that you'll receive an answer, but also silently quieting your mind. And then you may have to periodically repeat the question. So for big life decisions, like should I move to a new city or should I start this new business? Those kinds of questions will take time. You may get just like one little step. And then I find when I've achieved that step or I've followed that step, then I'll get the next few steps. And sometimes, I may have mentioned this last week, sometimes I get guidance and I'm going, why did I felt like I listened to my guidance and I look back and I think that didn't seem like the right decision. So I can't really question it because I don't know the big picture. I don't know what God has planned for me in detail, right? I may have a general idea, but I don't know the details. So I hope you enjoyed this series actually of videos. So we started first with finding a quiet time. So that was meditation and quieting the mind. So go back and look at that video. That was 3 weeks ago. Then we moved into how do we know and listen and follow our inner guidance. And this week we took it a little bit further, shared with you 3 more ways to find and listen to inner guidance, and then we reviewed the whole process. So I hope you found this helpful. Come back next week and we will talk more about how to have a peaceful, calm, and really joyful life. So remember, I am a hypnotherapist. I provide services to women in midlife who are going through transition. And this midlife is transition. I offer 45-minute free discovery calls where we actually do hypnosis during that session. I do a recording of it. So these sessions are my gift to you. And it's also a way to see if working more deeply with me is a good fit for you and I. So I'm going to put the link in the comments where you can go into my calendar, schedule a time to talk to me if you'd like to discover more about hypnotherapy and how it can help you with your life situation. I would love to talk to you. So I'll put it in the comments, the link. I will see you next week. Take care.